Okay, good morning. So we will continue our discussion on Kaizen and 5S. Today I want to cover 5S. So last class we have seen what is value-added activities and non-value-added activities. So the activities that are performed that the customer is willing to pay for. So this, whenever service industry, this becomes very important. So those are all called value-added activities. And the second one, non-value added activities, but they are necessary. The activities that support the value addition. And waste means non-value added activities. That means they do not contribute any addition. Value addition is there. So value added activity, I told you physically. So any manufacturing process, I told you we are going to alter the geometry of the product. So raw material will be in some shape. We are going to alter the geometry. So that process is going to be a value add, obviously. And the next question is if they are done in right sequence. So many times I told you the products will be processed in different machines. And when we are operated in different machines, are they in right sequence? See, if they are not in right sequence, unnecessary movement will be there. So that is a what you call non-value addition is not there. So we have to keep all the machinery in the right sequence or location also. Sometimes location also very important. Any value-added activity should provide some competitive advantages. So this TQM always we have been saying we have to see the competitor. Suppose you give a very good quality product and the competitor is giving something free. For example, shampoo. There are two products shampoo. So one product is one company, company A, company B is there. Company A is giving a very quality product. Company B is also giving a equally quality product, but they are giving some free, some other item. So we have to see the competitive advantage. So then that adds value. So you also have to give that to some free products you have to give. So when you have some competitive advantage, so that is also a value addition. And always customer is the king, customer is the queen. So customer feels if the value addition is there, then and if he is ready to pay for that, then that is a value added activity. So value enabling activity. So there are some activities they do not add value. So for example, inspection is a very good example for value enabling activity. So they do not, you cannot go and ask the customer, I am inspecting the product so that I'm charging this much. So the customer will not be, it is your headache. So there is no value addition for the customer, but it is necessary. It is not a wasteful activity. We have to do inspection, otherwise you are in trouble. So like this, there are some activities, they are not value addition, but they are necessary. That is called value enabling activity. So they are not adding value. They are not adding value, but they are necessary. We cannot consider them as waste. So measurement is one example. If you do any activity to reduce the risk or defect, reducing the cost, the customer may not be interested, but you have to do that. Allow subsequent work for the customer to be performed very quickly or accurately. Legally, something we have to do, regulatory requirements. So, for example, whenever, for example, if you take our university, so we are going for rank. Of course, ranking you also need that. But whenever to get a BTech mechanical program, we should have some. There are some regulatory requirements, which the customer may feel that it is not a value-added activity. But legally, regulatory, we have to do that. So environment is one example. So nowadays, for example, if you have a leather factory, even car factory. No? So whatever wastage is there, it should be inside your factory. You should not give it to the Chennai Corporation will not allow. Whatever is there, whatever environmentally, whatever we are creating any waste, it should be. So these are all legal requirements, which is necessary, but they are not adding value. There are some good business practices which will not provide value add, but you have to do that. Now, non-value added activity, you note anything process. If it is not a process, that is a non-value addition. They are either they are not changing the product, they are not altering the geometry, that you can consider as non-essential. Out of sequence. So what we have done, if it is out of sequence, if the machines are not arranged in sequence, especially if you have a process layout, it will be like that. All the machines will be situated not in sequence, because a variety of product is there. And the customer feels that it is the activity is not adding value, then it is considered as a non-essential, that means waste activities. And this is what last class we did. There are 8 types of waste. So we are going to discuss in detail in this lecture. And then finally, we are going to see that 5S. So that is a Japanese. So how to have a clean atmosphere, either in office or in industry. So these are the 8 types of waste, and we will see what are the causes and what are the problems when you have these types of wastages. First one is a transportation. So you know, you cannot process a complete product in a single machine, and we need machines. So from one machine to other machine, we have to move the items. We have to move the items between the processes. Because one more thing I'm going to tell, motion, because you lost. Waste number 3 is motion. So there is a difference between motion and transportation. Transportation is nothing but transferring the part item from one machine to other machine. They use the word process. I can use the word machine there. So what is the cause is poor layout. So before starting an industry, you have to have a plant layout. So how do you keep all the machines in various places? So you have some space. Every machine, you know what is the dimension, and you will be, of course, every machine we are surrounding, we have to leave some spaces. So that is called plant layout. If that layout is not planned properly, unnecessarily the items will move. The movement of items will be unnecessary. Next is unstructured or not understood value stream. So there is something called value stream mapping. If you go to industry, so the main function of that value stream mapping is to identify what are the value adding activities and what are the non-value adding activities. And the third cause is complex material flow. So for example, if you have only one variety of component, identical component, mass production, you will keep all the machines in the sequence, then the material flow is very straightforward. It's not very complex. The raw material will go to the first machine, and then it will go to keep on going to the machine. Finally, you will get the finished products. But whereas when you have variety, so that is called, this first one is called the product layout. All the machines are arranged in sequence. There is no variety, only one type of component. But suppose if you have a process layout, that means there is variety, 20 types of components. Every 20, you cannot have 20 because we have to use all the machines, surplus machines will not be there. You cannot have 20 layouts. You cannot have 20 product layouts. So when you have variety, all the machines will be grouped together. That is called process layout. The product will go from one machine. So it will follow a different route for each variety. 20 varieties, there will be 20 routes, and finally the finished goods. So in that case, there is a complex material flow. So naturally, unnecessary movement will come. So product layout, it is not a problem. Whenever variety is not there, there is no problem. Whenever there is a variety, the flow becomes complex. Unnecessary movement of items will be there, and that is wastage, transportation. So what are the consequences? The time increases. Unnecessary movement of items is there, the time increases. Of course, anything we are going to do, there is cost. So cost to transport, searching becomes difficult. And sometimes material handling is very complex because if you have a process layout, many machines will be grouped together. And there is a chance of accidents also. Whenever there is an accident, there is a defect in the product. So that is the first waste. The second waste is inventory. So what is that inventory? So there are inventory means either the raw material, starting material. Sometimes we can use the word starting material. So before, for example, machining, for a machining process, the raw material will be from the casting or from the forging. So there is a raw material, that is inventory, and then finished product. So after completing all the processing, you will get the finished product. That is also inventory. And in between, it is called semi-finished good is called work in progress, WIP, work in progress. So these are all raw material, finished goods, and work in progress. They are called inventory. So what is this inventory? Sometimes is a wastage. Sometimes it's a wastage. So you should stock material only. Some little bit buffer can be there. So some 20%. For example, you are making a piston out of aluminum. For example, if you are making a piston out of aluminum, and for every month you require, for example, 1 ton of aluminum, you require 1 ton of aluminum. Maybe you can have 1.2 tons. Some little bit buffer can be there because sometimes material availability will not be there. Sometimes bulk discount will be there. But you cannot have 2 tons of aluminum. So that is a waste, inventory waste. So your requirement is only 1 ton. 1 ton means 1000 kgs. So that is a waste of inventory. Same way finished products. So finished products also there is a demand. For example, every month your demand is ranging from just answering 20,000 pistons. On an average, 20,000 pistons. 1 month it will be 18,000. 1 month it will be 23,000. So on an average, 20,000. So if your demand is 20,000, you can stock 23,000 because next month you can give, but you cannot have 40,000 pistons. So that is the wastage. The same, these are all fine. Anywhere another, I'm going to, it is going to add cost also. So this is raw material and finished products. Work in progress will create a space problem. So raw material will be there in the stores. Finished products you will give to the distributors. In between, semi-finished goods are there means you cannot sell. Cost is there because material cost is there. So unnecessarily money is locked. All these things are wastages. So finished goods should be as per the demand. Raw material also some buffer you can have just for your planning. Semi-finished, absolutely no. You should not have semi-finished goods. Whatever material goes inside, at the end of the day, it should come as finished products. There should be no work in progress. So what is the cause? Overproduction. So sometimes that is same thing I'm going to tell us. That is also going to be wasted. Overproduction is a waste. So this is going to add cost because unnecessary material, more material, because no supplier will give unless you make the payment. So your money is being locked there. Same way, if you have finished products, if you are not selling means your money is locked. So these are all problems with the cost. And the work in progress will create space problems. This can become a defect also. So for example, if you are keeping raw material, for example, ferrous material, you know very well, ferrous material will rust. So if you are going to stock the material for 6 months, after 6 months, it will be rusted and you cannot use it. So this can become a defect. Of course, most of the engineering items are not perishable. You take anything perishable items like vegetables and fruits, no? If you are going to have that, that is a waste. So if you, for example, most of the fruits after 1 week, they will perish. So in that case, no, they will become a defective product. Perishable items, they will become a defective product. So inventory, unless if you are planned properly, it becomes a waste. But of course, you have to stock some inventory because bulk discount they give. So when you have a supplier, no, so if you are going to supply for 1 month thing, no, they will not give any discount. So you can have some waste of. So there is a trade-off. So what is the advantage you are getting from what is it from the discount, or what is the problem you are facing when you are having inventory as the waste? But basically, inventory should be planned properly. Otherwise, it is going to be a waste. Waste 3, motion. So this is within a process. So there is a difference between transportation and motion. So within a process, unnecessary movement should be there. The worker, no, sometimes, especially if it is not a machine, without a machine, somebody is doing some work, no, motion is very important. Otherwise, extra time will take unnecessarily. These machines, nothing is there. Within the machine, nothing is there. Only thing, if you have seen a lathe, a number of passes you have to reduce. That's all. But if it is something is the process is done manually, the worker hand movements. So there is something called time and motion study. So we can find out whichever method if you are following takes the lesser time. So what are the reasons for this motion? What is layout, process planning, housekeeping? So these are some of the reasons. Unnecessary motion is there. Same way, time and cost, safety, all these things. It is almost similar to transportation. So waiting. So I told you all the processing times. If you for example, if you have a component which has to be processed in 5 machines, all the 5 machines, if you take the processing time, will not be same. Ideally, we would love to have the processing times to be equal, but it will not be the case. It will not be the case. There will be some variation, and this variation will create a waiting. So, for example, the first machine is 1 minute. For 3 machines are there. First machine is 1 minute. The second machine is 5 minutes, and the third machine is 2 minutes. So 1 minute, no problem. Semi-finished goods will come. Second and third mission. So this is 5 minutes and this is 2 minutes. So this third mission has to wait because every 2 minutes it will be making a product. There is a second mission only every 5 minutes the output will come. So the parts have to wait. So that is unnecessary. So the mission, that means the third mission is idle. So that is a waste. That is a waste. So you have to balance them. So balancing a line, there are some techniques, but of course, every time we cannot go for a second mission. So unless otherwise, no, if it is a very slow operation, that's called bottleneck. And if it is a very, very slow operation, we can go for the second mission. Same thing, we can go for a second mission, but that is capital expenditure. So the causes is unreliable supply chain, bottleneck, downtime. Downtime is wastage of time. The mission is idle. Another way, the mission for the third mission, downtime is there. So what is the problem? Excessive lead time. So I told you processing time, there is a lead time. Starting from design up to thing, there is something called lead time that becomes more. When the product is going to wait means lead time is more. Bottleneck. So bottleneck means the product, one mission is slow means that is called bottleneck. And that additional time, the problem is additional time and cost will be there. Over processing. So that is also a waste. So your demand is 1,000 products. You should not make 4,000 products. So what will you do with the remaining 3,000 products? Demand is only 1,000. So that is also a waste, over processing. So processing beyond the value. So there is another thing also. There is a value given by the customer. Unnecessarily don't do anything. So I got it wrong. Over processing means processing beyond the value. So customer requires something. So don't give anything additionally. So that is called over processing. So what is the case? Lack of customer focus. Always done it this way. Lack of understanding. Scheduled work time is longer than needed. So here the problem is also time and cost. So don't do whatever customer asks, you do that. Overproduction. I think this is called overproduction. So in greater quantities than required for the customer. So the example last, so overprocessing and overproduction, there is a difference. Overproduction means there is a demand for only 1,000 products. You are making 4,000 products. So the 3,000 products, no, the 3,000 products unnecessarily cost is there. You will not be able to sell because there is no demand. So poor planning is the cause. Incorrect bottleneck assumptions. Problem is it will discourage a smooth flow. Inventory becomes a problem. Underutilized people. Even I think last class also we have some discussion. Actually, previously, this waste only 7 wastes are there. Now they have included. This is the 8th waste actually. So underutilization of people's ability, knowledge, and skills. So if you have recruited a person who is highly capable, but if you are not able to utilize him, anyhow, whether you are utilizing him or not, you will be paying for them. So this is especially in IT industry. In IT industry, there will be a team. Once there is a project, there will be a team. And only 3 or 4 people will be, for example, there is a team of some 10 people, 3 or 4 people will be working, remaining 6 people will be doing only some coordination activity. And even nowadays, no IT, what they are doing, they have some bench strength. With the assumption that will be getting their more projects, they will keep their employees as a bench strength. So these are all underutilization. So that is the waste actually. They are paying salary, no? So somebody is, many IT companies, they are doing that. So assuming that they will be getting projects, they will be recruiting people. And that is underutilization of the people. So they are not given any work. They are not given any work for first 6 months or 8 months. So if that is the case, that is a wastage because they are paying salary. So the employee also will not be happy. For example, I am a teacher. For example, they are not giving me any subject. So I will not be happy. So underutilization is for people also it is a problem. If you are not giving any work, if you are paying salary, that is trouble actually. That is actually real trouble. This many times it will happen in IT industry. Because they think about their future and they will do that. But anyway, that is a wastage actually. Somebody is not utilized, and if you are paying salary, that is a wastage. That is a wastage. And you have, the only thing is you have to use their ability. So great ideas. What is the problem? Great ideas. So somebody is a very highly qualified, highly competent person, very professional, but his ideas are not being used means. So this is a problem with dominant people. People with dominant personalities, this becomes a problem. So they will not contribute. So they are very highly capable, they are knowledgeable. Because of their dominant personality, their contribution will be very less. Many times now, these dominant personalities will force the focus in the wrong direction. So that will not be helpful for the company. So these are all wastages. So if you are, that is a good thing. When you are going to work now, please try to contribute. Try to contribute. That is going to be very important. So many times you cannot, when you go, for example, if you are working in a core industry, if they are giving some electrical job, you are asked to do the electrical job, you have to do that. You cannot say because I'm not a mechanical engineer, I cannot do electrical. These days, no, even I am a teacher, so they have a lot other types of works are there. So for example, whenever student admission is there, we will be put in help desk. So all the other activities also we have to do. So that you have to contribute. Then only, otherwise it's going to be waste. So it's waste number. And obviously this is waste number 8 is defects. So anything, so your defect is where customer believes that they did not get what they paid for. So this is in a service industry. This is in a service industry, but in engineering industry, without customer also we can, in inspection we can find out. Surface finish is very poor, dimension is not within the tolerance. So what is the cause is process variation. So I told you TQM, the variation should be less. If the variation is more, that is a defect. 25 plus or minus 0.1 mm should be the diameter. So it can be 25.1 or 24.1. So the variation should be minimized in TQM. That is what the entire subject total quality management. Customer in service industry, the customer requirement is not understood. That is a defect. So what is the problem? Time, cost, everything. If it is a defect, means either we have to rework or you have to discard it. Both the ways now, we have cost is a problem. Customer confidence comes. We are giving a defective product. Giving a defective product, there is a problem. Confidence will come down. These are some of the opportunities where that non-value added activities are there. Scrap means waste. Inventory, already we discussed one slide. Material handling, we have discussed transportation and motion. Order, whenever purchase order, because when you do manufacturing, not only loading the product, doing the processing and unloading, that alone is not there. We are getting the order because you will be having some 1,000 customers, for hundreds of customers will be there. Each of them will be requiring for example, if you are a piston manufacturer, different specifications you have to meet. So you will be getting, there will be one team which will be taking care of the purchase team, which will order and other things. From the order, they will give internally, they will be issuing orders, work orders. So all these also we can find out what are the non-value added activities. Shop loading, scheduling, inspecting the materials. Sometimes so much time is being wasted in inspecting the materials. wait for review, scheduling the materials, material disposal, receiving the materials. WIP means work in progress, finished goods. Already we are seeing these are all wastages. Store the material, drafting, whenever drawing also don't waste time. Assembly. We know very well all the components you cannot do it in a single piece. So you have to join them by means of building or fasteners. Assembly time is going to be because many times assembly cannot be automated. But nowadays, modern car companies, they are able to assemble. Automated assembly is there, but many times assembly is done manually. Assembly is there. So that when it is done manually means time becomes crucial. So we have to potentially, these are some of the areas where we have to see whether non-value added activities are there. The reword is a bad thing whenever it comes to this 8 types of this. Kaizen. Whenever Kaizen means reword. So rework. So something you are doing and you are not happy. Once again, you have to redo that. Reworking, we are doing reworking. Reworking. So reworking means unnecessary labor cost is there. Machinery also is there. That reworking is a wastage. That is a wasted activity, non-value addition. So first time itself, you do it properly. Reworking, retooling. Sometimes tool there is a problem. Once again, you change the tool. Retooling is also a wastage. Rejection, you know very well. Something is rejected, it's a waste. Restocking, retesting, recalling, retraining. First time, if you do properly, these types of things will not. So that is always a bad news when it comes to this words. The RE word comes first. That is a bad news when it comes. What are the steps that can be taken to eliminate the waste? First one is brainstorm. So what is brainstorm? Just all of people should sit together and talk. So whenever, many times, many machineries are kept together. Naturally, some wastage, this type of unnecessary movement, everything will be there. Directly, if you see the industry, you will not be able to identify what are the various unnecessary movements. First, you brainstorm. So just you go through the factory and you brainstorm wherever you are having unnecessary movements, wherever we are having over processing. So brainstorm. So people sit together and the second step, clearly identify the business processes or areas to focus improvements where bottlenecks, high cost. So that's what we have been saying, wherever high cost. So that's what we have Pareto chart. What is the vital area? Same way, FMEA, we are finding which failure mode is very critical. So that way you please identify to focus to eliminate the waste. Perform the detailed current state. So currently what that is called value stream. So currently you do audit test plan, and then you can do tools like value stream mapping, time and motion studies. That's what motion. So you take a camera, there is no, for example, assume there is no mission. So some worker is doing a job. So you take a camera and then you take a picture, and ask him to do some other way. So you will be some convenience, he will be doing the work. You will be doing the work. So ask him to try some other way. So and then you can study that video clip. You have to study, and you can eliminate some unnecessary things. For example, if he is using only one hand, you can ask him to use the other hand, so that the ultimate idea is the time should come down. Time should come down so that wasted motion should be reduced. So this time and motion study will be done using a camera. So video, measurements, interviews with employees, collect process data. So all these things you do, first you find out what is the current state. So just you go, one worker is working, assume machinery is not. If there is machine, much improvement cannot be done. If there is without machine something, for example, assembly, he is doing some assembly work. So you take, for example, for each, for example, if you take a circuit board, somebody is inserting manually all the capacitor resistors. So for entire board, he is taking some for 5 minutes. So you take a camera and you take how he is doing. So then you study and you ask him to do the other way. Instead of doing this way, you try this way. Something you try, so that instead of 5 minutes, if he is able to do in 4 minutes, and then that can be recorded. So this first you do the current state, and then unnecessary movements can be studied in this time motion studies, value stream mapping, all these. These are all some tools available, and we can identify what are the various value-added activities, non-value-added activities, but necessary, that is value-enabled activity, and then wastage, non-value-added activities. Then define ideal future. So current state we are doing in the second step, and then you find out you define the future state map for the targeted process. So the wastage should be completely eliminated. That is the fourth step. And then justify those. So what is the benefit you are getting? So when you are eliminating waste, what is the benefit you are getting in safety, quality, customer? Everywhere you will have benefits. So if you are reducing the time, naturally financial impact is there. Even if you are charging less, so if there is a financial impact, if the cost is reduced, even customer will be happy. So instead of 10 rupees, if I'm charging 8 rupees, you will get quality also will improve, safety of the workers will improve. All these things, when wastage is eliminated, take place. So involve employees. So that is very important. PDCA, we will discuss at some other time. So what is the plan, do, check, act? Employees should be involved, and we have to perform the Kaizen events. Set action plans to get from the current state to future state. So that is very important. So you know current state, time and motion analysis, you did future state, you know. And then how do you, so you set timelines, you take ownership of improvement, and then you follow up. So you found out what is the current state. You know, sometime current state, there is some time. Future state, definitely time will come down. So you have to set time, and we have to immediately we have to change it, go to the next step. We have to go to the next step. So its timeline should be set, and you have to do follow up. Then only improvement will come. So execute the improvements and follow up. Training the employees. So when you want to wastage, that is very important. Small things also now. Standardize the process based on improvement. Reflect and learn from the process. So with this, I will stop for this class. We will meet tomorrow at 9:50. So please remember, tomorrow, 26th of February, is an instruction day. So tomorrow is an instruction day. So Friday's timetable is being followed. So the same way, 9:50 we will have the class, so that we will continue with this discussion. So some FIS I have not covered. So this once again quickly I will go through this about the wastage, because it's very important. Lean production is going to be very important. So if at all you are working in a core company, wastage, these types of things are very important. This concept is very important. So once again, quickly we'll go through, and then we'll go for 5 years, and then I'll start control chart.